Oh damn, we're live already. We're live already. Okay, okay. Let me make sure my volume's up. Let me get my chat window up, and you guys in the chat, we're gonna be starting soon. Let me know if everything sounds good there. We're live here. If you can hear the volume, let me know how my volume sounds here. Testing out some new layouts, things like that, and we're just gonna go through kind of a weekend review here. Just trying to get my setup all set up here, so it took me a little bit longer than usual, but I'm coming, I promise you. Give me 1 second. If you're in the chat, let me know if you can hear me. How's my volume? Then I'll be right there in 1 second. Just getting everything set up here, right here. It's been a hell of a week. I think, Brave and I, we did third installation of the BeBrave&John Show. I thought it went off without a hitch there. You can hear the volume. Okay, I think let me know how my volume sounds here. YouTube is going well right here. All right, give me 1 second. I need to pair up one more device. Hopefully we'll get some phone calls this morning, so I want to make sure the Bluetooth is ready to go. And I think it is. Let me test that just to make sure. So when the callers come, we don't have any connection issues there. Give me 1 second here. Make sure everything's good. I think everything's good. And let me cut that off. I'm already here now. All right. And we're going to do that. Get my little theme music going here. Yeah. There we go. All right, I think we're ready here now. I want to start off with one of the things. I guess I have to give the blacks some credit. all my life I've heard that, foreigners come here to this country and they're able to like take advantage of things that Americans and, particularly Black Americans have not been able to take advantage of. And, just the government does a good job of hiding these things. You're like, man, what are you talking about? What do you mean by that? How is the government helping other people? But I think with Trump coming into office and with the exposure of how much foreign aid is given to other countries to help their people, not ours. And, I think it's come to light. And in some sense, the blacks are right about this, and that not just them, but Americans in general are being disadvantaged by money, foreign money, our tax money, if you want to call it that, going out of the country to help other citizens in other countries, people in other countries, and I shouldn't even say citizens. And so this text kind of brought it to light here for me. See if I can bring this up. Give me 1 second. And it was a text from some guy, I don't even know who he is, Mark Stevenson. He may be an author or something, I don't know. But he said, Black Americans are the only groups in the U.S. that has had to pull itself up by our own bootstraps, while every other group has been given carte blanche financial stability and uplift by USAID. And I think that, this is what Donald Trump is attacking USAID, and I think it's going to be hard for many Americans to defend USAID when they see all of the money are going to benefit people, not necessarily American citizens here. Our women were being labeled welfare queens, subject to drug testing while being pregnant. And some had their kids taken, or even worse, were locked up. Yet we see USAID laundering our money. These are very strong terms here. I wonder if this guy's a Democrat, by the way. Laundering our money all over the world, and the trope of I came to the U.S. with only $2 in my wallet and a dream is a complete and utter lie. I think that's true now. I think for many of them, it is true that these people, at least some of them, are coming here with a lot of benefits, a lot of advantages that the American citizens are being taxed to take care of, to pay for. Funny thing, most black folks knew these immigrants were getting fleeced up before they got here. That is why they all practice anti-black racism when they get here. I can't really speak on that, but I have heard this point quite a bit in my life, is that the blacks feel like that the immigrants coming here were giving kind of a handout, however you want to call it, and to the detriment of the blacks. So I have heard that quite a bit over my life. So it'll be very interesting to see how this USAID works out. And as we see that the Maxine Waters of the world, they will come to its defense. But the people down on the ground, their constituents, I don't think will be much in favor of continuing USAID. So anyway, I thought it was very interesting. Another thing that Donald Trump is exposed among the elite deep state is that they really are out for themselves there, and this is USAID is really highlighting that issue there, and so that was very interesting. I think we're going to kind of be championing. You're going to see a lot of people championing Donald Trump in terms of knocking down all of this funding that's going outside of the country here. So I'm just rolling through some of the week in review, some of the news in review. And I'll probably be stumbling over some of the things like Brave show. I was real high on that. I thought it was a pretty good show. The first 3 shows have been very good. A lot of negative and positive feedback, which is good. You want people saying things negative and positive. Let's take a look at this. Come on Instagram here. It's no particular order here. I think a lot of it will be immigration bent. Let's see if this come up here. Yeah, they're asking me to log in Instagram. This is actually right outside of D.C. here. You can take a look. There's more tension here in America. Transition here. And let's see. Let's see what these guys are.
You get the fuck off it! You're gonna go to jail, bro. Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him? And you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker!
It's right outside of a strip club, right? Right outside D.C., Crystal City, D.C.
Bitch, stop standing. Fuck you! Get up! Keep it up, and goddamn it, I'm telling you, you're gonna fucking go. Are you gonna assault me? You're gonna fucking get off my property. How many times I have to tell him, officer? Get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck off it.
I got this whole thing on video.
You're good. Get the fuck off my property. You get the fuck off it.
You're gonna go to jail, bro.
Yeah, you watch who goes to fucking jail. How many times have you heard how many times I've told him?
You can see someone saying that was my first strip club there. I think the name of the strip club, I've been there before. It's Crystal City Restaurant. I think that's the name of the strip club. And
and you'll fucking see where we're standing. Get the fuck off my property, motherfucker.
Bitch, stop standing.
Fuck you. Get up.
And that was that. It's just something little going on outside of DC Crystal City. Just more conflict and tension here. Here's something. This is we're staying in the DMV here. Let's take a look at this DMV. See if I cut the volume up on this. Refresh this.
You're the schizophrenic. Take your medication. I employ you. I'm your boss. I'm your fucking boss. I'm your boss. You're a little piece of shit. Nigger. You're a nigger. You're a fucking nigger. I'm a bitch. You're a slave.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I guess the N-word doesn't work on everybody. He didn't respond like we normally would see people respond when they get called the N-word, so it doesn't work all the time on everyone. You don't get the response that you typically expect, and in this case, she kept calling him the nigger, and he didn't respond. It's interesting. Washington, D.C., diversity. Chocolate City, the melting pot. And, it's crazy. I told you guys about I had a tenant. Got both his feet bit off and lost half of his leg. And then I did a stream on pit bulls. The Black American's dog is what I call that motherfucker. A pit bull. And just yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I had someone, one of my guests, show up in my house, and not a guest, it was a fucking animal controller show up, and he says, a pit bull? Something, I don't know about a pit bull. And anyway, here is Washington, D.C., pit bull. These motherfuckers, they need to ban these motherfuckers. And take a look. Folks, that's a goddamn deer. That pit bull done took down. Pit bull done took down a deer. God damn, did I miss the video? Did a phone call come in? Fucking pit bull. Deer. God damn. Whose pit bull is that? I tell you, man, I had a young man. 2 pit bulls, they were one on each foot. And they bit that man just like this deer, whatever is being bitten by this pit bull right here. And it went on for my tenants and the guests said 20 minutes. And a young man eventually lost both of his feet. I imagine the situation went off similar to this right here. Just again, living in the city, the blacks with the pit bulls. And moving right along here, there's been a lot of talk about the blacks, DEI, Democrats, whatever, Target and all that kind of stuff. And so, there have been, what I think is going to be disparate groups, because some of these blacks are making money off Target, Michelle Obama, and then some of these blacks are not making any money off Target. And so here's a little demonstration going on by our buddy Jamal Bryant here. These are all returning to Target, as you can see here. All returning to Target. So these people are buying things and then returning them to, basically cause problems with the store here. And this is one approach that the blacks are taking because of companies getting rid of DEI there. We also saw Al Sharpton. He took the blacks to Costco to support Costco's continuing initiatives of DEI. But the biggest thing missing here is that they're not even focusing on jobs in America or creating businesses. They rail about big business on one hand, but then they drag their constituents to big business on the other hand to support them. And again, these companies are. I think many of them are getting rid of the DEI, but it just shows you that Sharp and all these guys, they're really in the pockets of big business. The ones that will at least go along with their initiatives. Let's take a look at
She just beat the shit out of
Oh, shit!
Go to sleep.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep, dumbass hoe.
She's beating her with the coffee pot here, and what the context here is that this woman is getting beat with the coffee pot and it's backing up. I like the sound of that when that coffee pot hit that head. She crawled through the drive-through window here.
Oh, y'all stop!
I ain't stopping shit.
Shit.
Hey, bitch!
Dumbass hoe. She just beat the shit out of
Oh, shit!
Go to sleep.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Go to sleep. Go to sleep, dumbass hoe.
Wait a minute, her fucking wig just came off. God damn it. Her wig was on.
Oh, y'all stop!
I ain't stopping
It was there.
shit.
Oh,
She gon' have your ass leaking.
y'all stop!
I ain't stopping shit.
Hey, bitch!
Dumbass hoe. She just beat the shit out of
Oh, shit!
Go to sleep.
Oh, my God. Oh.
Go to sleep.
Is that like dyed hair on her head, or is that a bald head? I can't tell that spot right there. Is that bald?
Go to sleep, dumbass hoe. Right, dumbass in the room. Breathe.
Is that a bald spot, or is that like honey blonde?
Get dumbass. Now go your dumbass out of here.
She punch drunk after that shit. Coffee pot.
Bet your ass won't do that no
Don't
more.
play with me, bitch!
I bet your slow ass won't do that no more. I bet you won't do that no more. Yeah, drunk.
And see, her car is right there still in the drive-thru. This shit is amazing.
Yeah, drunk.
Alright, that's that.
She gon' have your ass leaking.
God damn, some of my tenants right there. Yeah, some of my tenants right there fighting. Oh man, that is just some of the funny things. We can review here. We can review. I probably should have talked about that one on Be Brave Show. Maybe we'll talk about that one next week on Be Brave Show. This has been covered a lot, so I'm not going to cover it much. But, again, it hammers to the point that these Democrats are strongly pushing for foreign aid to the detriment of their own people. And this is the main one here, Maxine Waters. You've probably seen this somewhere else, so I won't cover it much. The lone white man standing in front of the Treasury, the purse strings of some government.
Were you told to stand here, or did you just?
People, they want the money. They want the money. They want access to the money. And he said, one lone white man stands in between these people looting whatever treasury is there. So I thought that was an interesting video there. It really kind of shows you where the politicians' interests are, and so very interesting. Again, more USAID money and where the money is going. You probably heard this again, but we're hammering on to the theme here.
It was pretty incomplete.
So you think we're going to find out that it was much more money than that for
Yes.
transgender animal testing?
Yes.
Can you describe what exactly the American people's taxpayer dollars were spent on regarding transgender animal testing?
Yeah. In a lot of these cases, they're involve mice, rats, monkeys who are being surgically mutilated and subjected to hormone therapies to mimic female to male or male to female gender transitions, gender affirming hormone therapies, and then looking at the biological, psychological, and physiological effects of the gender transitions, looking at the effects of taking vaccines after you've transitioned these animals from male to female or female to male, looking at...
A while back we covered the Pritzkers, and the Pritzkers have been very keen on funding the transgender movement. And I talked about that, saying they are the only people in that group that really needs the government's backing to effectively live their life, because they need medication. And what you're hearing here is the guy speak about all of the medication that's needed for the transgenders. And so, I say you're going to see a cleaving of the transgenders and the rest of the people, the LGBs, who don't need the government's assistance in the same way that the Ts do. And so that's what this guy's saying here.
Testosterone to mimic transgender male humans and then overdose them with this party drug to see if animals who were taking female animals taking testosterone were more likely to overdose on the sex party drug than animals who were not taking testosterone.
Mr. Goodman, are many of these taxpayer-funded animal studies shared with the public, or is there a significant oversight of this research?
You essentially needed a degree in information technology to navigate the federal spending databases to find any of this stuff.
So what you found is we're not being very transparent with what we're spending these funds.
And of course not, because if they were being transparent, no American citizen would go for it. So they have to hide these things. And one of the ways they were hiding, or we found out that they were hiding things, was through the USAID and USAID and all these government agencies. You know, I talked to my buddy Philippe about this just the same. He worked at the White House and he worked on the Capitol Hill, and he talked about all the subscriptions that these people would pay for. And it just struck me as rather interesting, because I read a lot of conservative publications. I read liberal publications too. And by and large, most of the liberal publications are behind a paywall. But the Republican publications mostly are free. You can go read Ameren or Unz or Daily Storm or whatever you want to read. It's mostly free. But behind the paywalls is where the Democrat content is. And the only people, I've always wondered who pays for it, other than Stanley, someone like Stanley, who's paying for it. And now we see that the government is paying for a lot of these pro-life subscriptions, which is nothing more than money laundering here. Which takes me to where I want to go here. Let me see if I can find this. I want to find this. It was a guy, when I first moved to D.C., I remember hearing this guy's name, and they ended up putting him in prison. And he was a Congress member out of Indiana. I think he was out of Indiana. Yeah, he was out of Indiana. And here's a clip from him right here. Some of you older people may remember, the guy's a little mature in age. You may remember this guy. And let me see if I can pull the clip up. Here it is. His name was James Traficant, one of the few politicians I've ever seen go to prison. And you might find it interesting what he has to say here.
To tone down.
Grudges. Who are your grudges against?
Well, number one, and my wife constantly reminds me to tone down. I brought that guy back from Israel, John Deminick. It was my Freedom of Information Act which proved not only that he was innocent, but who Ivan really was. The case was so sensitive, members of Congress would say, Jim, I love you, but please, don't involve me. I sent my evidence to the Sixth Circuit Court in Cincinnati. They wouldn't accept it. I finally sent it over to Israel, to the Israeli Supreme Court, and they called me over there, and I went with the family. I did a live interview, satellite, with Brian Gumbel, and I said, when they put this innocent man to death, they're going to lose $15 to $20 billion every year they get from the American taxpayers. And Brian Gumbel says, what are you talking about? You only get $3 billion. And I said, Brian, that's only the foreign aid bill. Look at all the other trade compacts, economic assistance, military assistance. I'm saying this to you right now. Israel gets approximately $15 billion a year from the American taxpayers. That $15 billion is $30,000 for every man, woman, and child. And people in my district are losing their pension benefits. So I was targeted big time.
By the Israelis.
The Israeli Supreme Court looked at the evidence, could not refute it. And it came from the Justice Department, Greta. And they said, take him home. I brought him home, and he was bombarded ever.
And that was James Traficant. It looked like that was his first interview after being released from prison. And I remember him very well. He's, again, one of the few Congress members that I remember going to prison here in Washington, D.C. And I can't remember what he did, but it had something to do with corruption there. So again, James trafficking, exposing some of the Israeli corruption and the aid that goes to Israel, just a small portion of that what we know about. Again, it kind of goes again with the all the USAID and all the money that seemingly goes outside of the United States. And you know, the video I showed you earlier, that was actually outside of the State Department. I mean, the Education Department. And I think the Education Department is a big honeypot for these professional politicians. You'll see them.
They're going to open the doors to all of these things and show the American public what is going on. They won't even open the door to this building, to members of Congress. We are not posing any threat here. No, we are not dangerous people.
I've never seen these politicians so interested in education.
We have not done anything. We're trying to request a meeting, and they have...
I mean, we've had education failing here in America. Now, one politician is showing up at the Department of Education and asks, hey, what's going on in here? But when the money gets cut off, when the access gets cut off, that's when they show
a private security contractor who on his own is making decisions on behalf of the Department of Education. We are members of Congress.
And you notice who's arguing for the entry is the black people, of course, because this is their grift. This is the biggest part of their grift. That they can't get the money internationally the way that the other politicians can. So much of their grift comes from the Department of Education there. And so that's why you see them fighting so hard for it, in my opinion. Again, that's Maxine Waters and others outside of the Department of Education, their honeypot there. Yeah, we just bouncing along here. So one of the things I've already shown you that one. One of the things I want to show you is the, this is interesting. This is Elizabeth Warren back in 2009, more or less explaining the plot here again. But once you get into Congress, you kind of have to go along, get along, and you'll see here it's Elizabeth Warren.
I was talking to someone who spent many years as a prosecutor, and he said, you know, when that much money disappears, it's usually because somebody broke some laws somewhere. But if we don't look, if we don't ask, if we don't uncover it and make it all public, we'll never find out.
Where is the criminal investigation that needs to happen here?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I just haven't seen it at all. What the government didn't do is it didn't turn around and say, you lost how much money, and you wiped out how many pensions, and you wiped out how many jobs. I want to know who did what, whether or not any laws were violated, where the gaps are in the system that would permit this to happen. I want to hold somebody responsible. Responsibility is not just about blame. Responsibility is about making sure we fix this and it will not happen again.
And you know, that's again, like, they do a lot of investigations, they do a lot of demanding responsibility, but ultimately, like, they're all benefiting and they're not going to out themselves. And so, you know, just get more mealy mouth talk like that. I imagine that Elizabeth Warren, I think she's in control of one of these agencies, government agencies. So she's benefiting now. They've kind of ensnared her in this. And so she's not going to go against the hand that feeds her. We've been having quite a bit of a time on flights here in America for the last few years. Someone even connected it to COVID money, the bad behavior on flights. Here's something interesting on a flight. You see some guys really had to
got it in?
together here.
There's two-way scanner here. I got Tyson. I got it, baby. You get that over? I got it, guys. This is right. Let's get his hands first here. This is his arm. I got his arm.
Like dreadlocks on that head.
You got it in? No. It's not on. Come on, bro. Suéltame, bro. Get around in that pole. Can you tie the legs up to him?
That'd be good. I don't know if this. So just lay him on his back and start kicking the window.
Yeah, we can't let him kick right now. Guys, try to strengthen to his wrist so he don't kick out the windows.
You hear him say, you know, they don't want him to kick out the windows. You're going to see more of what the damage here in a minute.
Okay, another one.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
Don't let his teeth get you.
Don't let his teeth get you.
Wow.
You see the damage there to the window. It looks like he tried to kick the window out. I think it's a good time now. I probably should take a good time to thank some of the supporters there. Roller Skater Girl, Lindy Lou, some of the people in the chat, and the ones that come up on the panel that make the show what it is on the big stream. Ryan, Juan, Pacheco, who else comes up? Just everyone that comes up. Tough Guy, and if I'm leaving out a name, I don't think I left you out on purpose. And the people that financially support the channel, we appreciate all of you guys. People in the chat, Abiola, I see you always here, Nigerian, you're using your Nigerian internet there. Have I heard of the Mingle Child Ethiopian thing? No. Tell me more about it. I'll look it up in a minute. I haven't heard about that. There's so much in the news these days. So, or better yet, send me an email, or you can send Portia an email. This is what was interesting coming out of D.C. here. You seeing, like, what I find interesting is, if Trump is such a dictator and all that, why do these people want to continue working there? You would think most of these federal government workers would take the buyouts, and most of them, considering that they're supposedly so skilled, would find other places to work and things like that instead of working for Donald Trump. And I think their resistance and their demanding to stay on, many of them not taking the buyout, it really shows you that they really don't have many options here. These people aren't as skilled as we've made them out to be. And here's an article about the former Inspector General of USDA, I think.
Out of her office after she refused to comply with her firing by the Trump.
Refused to comply. Can you imagine that? Like, seriously, can you imagine in the regular world where you would refuse to comply with the firing, where you had to be escorted out by security? You said, no, I'm not leaving. Yeah, I'm not leaving. I know you fired me, but I want to stay on anyway. It's just the kind of the entitlement of government workers here.
Administration. Phyllis Fong reportedly told colleagues that she intended to stay after the White House terminated her, saying that she didn't believe the administration had followed proper protocols. Army, look, these lefties, they can try as hard as they can, but why bother going up against Trump orders?
Yeah, first of all, hey, IG, it's not your place to interpret the protocols and the legality of your firing, right? And that's the problem I think we have the IGs in general. I think they were they had a world onto themselves. They felt they were disconnected from the law. They could do whatever they wanted. And that was the problem that Trump had from the beginning. Look, there was a 2022 law that was passed, that we've been talking about a lot, that strengthened the role of the IG. And how they're let go, how they're rehired, and the truth is that he probably has not run afoul of this 2022 law because most of it was probably actually unconstitutional. That it is actually within the power of the president to fire these IGs. I think where he's going to have a problem is where the 2022 law, I think, will stand any legal and Supreme Court scrutiny, is that you really have to have independency when it comes to who the inspector generals are, the federal inspector generals. And I think that he won't be able to put in any lackey that he wants, that is going to have to go through rigorous approval. I think that's great. I think that's fair. But his ability to fire the inspector generals is within his purview, completely legal. And I think that when you have all the media, it goes back to the media, talking about how this goes against the law is simply untrue.
No, I agree. Now, look, Meta has agreed to pay $25 million to settle a lawsuit filed by Donald Trump against the company after it suspended his accounts following that January 6th attack on the Capitol. It's the latest instance of large corporations settling litigation with the president. Meta has come around to Trump. We know its CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, met him. He was at the inauguration. I wonder if he regrets suspending his account now.
Oh my God. I love this so much. I love seeing these technological leftist titans bending the knee and kissing the ring of Donald Trump, because they know that for the next 4 years, they are going to be scrutinized and they're trying to get ahead of it. It is so delicious to see. Look, you saw ABC had to settle a lawsuit also when they called him a rapist, and they settled that money was going to his presidential library. I think it's great. I think it's ironic. I think it's phenomenal. Yeah, you're seeing all of these tech titans who were very supportive of Biden and Kamala and the left now turn around and say, I think we got it wrong. I think we better settle our accounts now to make sure we're good with President Trump. It's great. I love it.
I love it too. You're right. They're all bending down to kiss the ring now after years of talking up against Trump, suspending his accounts. And now, look, suddenly, if you're not in the Trump crowd, it's better to be in than out. That's how I look at it. Now, Army, we've got to say, we have been loving your posts on.
And there's I didn't know that about Meta and Trump, but again, he keeps winning here. He keeps winning. And I think, again, this whole USAID thing, he's going to march through all of these government agencies, and you're going to see scales of corruption unseen before, like a third world country in America, in my opinion. Billions upon billions of dollars. Someone sent me this. He said, you should play this, John Galt. So I figured I'd play it for you guys here. This is Donald Trump showing a boss.
Sweden, various countries.
You mentioned the Department of Education. What do you think when you saw Democratic lawmakers trying to get into the Department of Education earlier today?
Oh, I see the same ones. I see Maxine Waters, a lowlife. I see, all these people. They don't love our country. They don't love our country. We want great education. So they rank 40 countries in education. We're ranked dead last. But the good news is we're number one in one category. You know what that is? Cost per pupil. We spend more per pupil than any other country in the world. You look at Norway, Denmark, Sweden, various countries all up and down, Finland. China does very well in education. And then you look at us. We spend much more money than they do per pupil, or any other way. But we spend much more money than they do, and yet we're ranked this year. Biden's last year, congratulations, Joe, we're ranked dead last. So what I want to see is education. Number one, I like choice. We all like choice. But beyond choice, long beyond choice, I want to see it go back to the states where...
Oh, that's the holy grail right there. Taking the money out of the federal government, going back to the states. It's a lot of jobs and contracts and vendor relations on the line here. And Trump knows it, and he's striking at the money.
Great states that do so well have no debt. They're operated brilliantly. They'll be as good as Norway or Denmark or Sweden or any of the other highly ranked countries. They'll be, probably have 35 to 38 states will be right at the top. And the rest will come along. They'll have to come along competitively. And by the way, we'll be spending a lot less.
Trump is hinting at something here. The states that are in charge, they set their own curriculums. They're going to do very well. And then the states that don't do very well, I think we will isolate what the problems are. And from a businessman perspective, you have to isolate what the problems are. And I think that is what Trump is doing. He said it'll be about 38 good states that...
Less money, and we'll have great education.
38 good states that will have great education, and then there will be about 12 that don't. Well, who are those 12? And what is causing them to have such an issue with their education, considering the amount of money that's being spent? He says for school choice and those type of things really go against the establishment because that puts more power in the hands of the people whose children are being educated. Kanye West is going back on a rampage again, so some people are speculating he must have an album on the way out. And so here's a tweet from Kanye West here. I don't even want to read all this shit in caps. But what's interesting is that the posts may violate X's rules against hateful conduct. And basically he's going against Jewish people. He said white people and Jewish people are different. You can get money with Jewish people, but they always going to steal and invite you over to their house on Friday. Here's the interesting thing, man, about Kanye West. And I'm kind of partial to Kanye West, I'll be honest. He can get money with Jewish. You can get money with Jewish people. Hell, why can't you get money with your own? If the Jewish people are so bad, they're fucking you out of your money. then stop dealing with them. If you're so talented, why do you need those people? No one can explain that to me. If they're so greedy and they're just vultures and they're not able to, I think I heard him say they don't make anything. Well, why do you keep dealing with them? It would be very easy to just cut them off, do your thing, and not worry about the Jewish people. There would be no more complaints. But he says you can get your money with them. And I think in saying that, he highlights, a weakness in himself. You can't get money with your own people. You can't get money with white people. Jewish aren't the only people here in America. Why do you keep focusing on this small group of people when they're 80% of the rest of the country is not Jewish? Clearly, they're not even 20%. But he's highlighting a real serious problem, I think, in Black America, particularly in the Black music industry. You can get money with Jewish people, but they always going to steal. Okay, well, stop dealing with them. Deal with Black people. Will they not steal from you? Will you, even after the Jewish people steal from you, did you have more money than you would have had if you had dealt with Black people or white people? They'll invite you to their house on Friday. White people do not fuck with niggas. They leave that to the Jews. If you think you getting money with a man, with a white person, it's not true. That so-called white person actually Jewish. They never even consider doing business with their own people. The Jews don't even fret about doing business with Blacks. Right? Then I just can't believe that the Jewish people are sitting around here thinking about doing business with Blacks. But for the last couple of years, this is all we've seen out of Kanye West. He hasn't solved any of his own problems. You've had 2 or 3 years as a billionaire to work your way around these Jewish people, or to at least be happy with wherever you end up. On this stream here, I talk all the time about going around the middleman. If the Jews are the middleman, he should listen to me. I talk all the time about going around Airbnb to cut out the middleman. He has a good product. Why doesn't he focus on cutting out the middleman as opposed to complaining about the middleman? That's something I just don't understand there. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but, hey, who am I to know? Again, just rolling along through the Twitter stream here. And here's an interesting, probably should say this for Be Brave.
Something might be. Y'all, guess what? I've been crying all day. So I've been having cramps and stuff. So I decided to go to the ER, because I'm thinking something might be wrong because, I just had a baby a month ago. I just had a baby a month ago. So I'm thinking something might be wrong. So I'm sitting there. Yeah, I went in there. They ran tests and all that. They asked me, they was like, do you think you're pregnant? I'm like, no, I'm not pregnant or whatever. I'm not pregnant. Even though I didn't wait my 6 weeks, y'all. I'm embarrassed. Y'all don't judge me. I didn't wait my 6 weeks. But how about that doctor is going to come in there and say, I'm pregnant again. Like,
pregnant again?
He really said I'm pregnant again. So I was in shock. I was like, I can't be pregnant again.
Can't be pregnant. I ain't do nothing to get pregnant.
Please take a test again. My baby only a month old. Y'all, I'm 3 weeks. I forgot how many days it said. I'm 3 weeks and some days pregnant. I'm so embarrassed, but hey, and I cried. Did what I had to do. There's nothing I can do about it. I mean, I can get rid of it, but I don't see that happening. But I just had to tell y'all first. I had to tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody, because everybody gonna be asking me. And I'm embarrassed because this is my first child. And I'm already pregnant again. So she about to be a big sister, which is embarrassing.
No, I don't think it's necessarily that embarrassing, to be honest with you. Maybe not being able to, follow the doctor's guidelines is more embarrassing than anything. But the pregnancy, kudos to her for not giving the baby up. So I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not going to go hard on it. I'm just going down the stream here. Let's see what this is. Oh, I saw this shit. Listen to this.
Extra razzle-dazzle in there and be like, yeah, make sure you text me right now or in the next 5 minutes, boo. Don't play with me. Y'all.
I'm going to refresh it just to get it from the beginning. Instagram, you can't rewind here. And it doesn't come on with the volume either. What the fuck is going on? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Here it is. All right. What? Where's the volume here? I don't know what the fuck is going on with this. Anyway,
Men out here unaliving women because they don't want to give their number up to these men. Baby, I don't care what you look like, how aggressive you came at me. You about to get this number. I was at the gas station and tall dude with dreads walked up to me and said, "Let me get your number." Not asking me, can he get my number? No, baby, he demanded it in a nice way. And even though he wasn't my type, I still gave him my number and smiled and said, "Make sure you text me in the next 5 minutes. Don't play with me." And he walked off smiling. Okay? I love my life. I love my future. I love my purpose. And I'm not going to allow pride or ego to get the best of me in that moment.
Is it that serious out here? This is crazy.
If a man asks me for my number, I'm going to give it to him. I don't care what he look like. And if I don't like him...
Dating in America these days. Well, we're going to take a small break. I want to get some comments on you guys. I was tinkering with the layout the last couple of days, so I'm just curious to know what you guys think about the layout. I think it looks a little bit more professional. We got the clock at the bottom, the BBC headline scrolling, the chat. Put it in the chat if you like the layout. If you don't, if you got some suggestions, feel free. I'll listen to that too. I even got the weather. Let me show you the weather. Here's the weather. Wham, there's the weather there. It's a clock, the weather. I was thinking about even maybe getting some stock market quotes or something like that for some of the streams here. But anyway, so just want to get you guys' comments on that. We try to work on it. To improve the production value of the show. And so I thought it looked pretty professional. Maybe I'll do the morning news hours or something like this with this is the layout here. So I hope you enjoy the layout. I hope you like the layout here. If you have some suggestions, make sure you put them in the chat here. And here's something interesting. If Garion is in the audience, he may, he may have some thoughts on this. Here we go.
This is truly awful and a trigger warning. We are learning that at least 165 female prisoners were raped and then burned to death. This video shows where and when this horrifying mass rape took place. You are looking at inmates fleeing from a prison in the Democratic Republic of Congo. More than 4,000 detainees made it out that day. But before their escape, some of the men carried out the mass rape of 165 women, then set the prison alight. Most of those victims died in the fire. That's according to the United Nations. Only around a dozen female inmates who had also been raped survived the blaze. Now, fighting has been taking place in Goma as a feared and dangerous rebel group called M23 battled government troops for control of the city, which is in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a matter of days, the M23 rebels forcibly seized the city. Now, systematic sexual violence has plagued the Democratic Republic of Congo for decades. Now, with the conflict spiraling out of control, women and girls are yet again at risk.
Damn, can you imagine this shit? You breaking out of a prison, and before you can break out, you rape the women and then burn them up? Jeez, is that what they said?
More than 4,000 detainees made it out that day. But before their escape, some of the men carried out the mass rape of 165.
That's exactly what they said. God damn. Man, that's some straight savagery right there. Like, unseen. Like, most people would be so ready to get the hell out of the prison, maybe get back to your own damn woman. And damn, you're gonna engage in rape? My goodness. Jesus Christ. Damn. That is amazing right there. Anyway, guys, coming on the, someone said it's been like that for 30 years. Rwanda troops too. Yeah, the Tutus and the Husis, I think. Was that Rwanda or was that the Congo? I can't remember. Anyway, very interesting. Coming out of the Congo. I saw someone mention South Africa, man, and you've probably, if you've been watching the stream for any bit of time, you've probably heard me mention South Africa quite a bit. South Africa seems to be the direction that we're headed. And so I saw this headline coming out of the NY Post, but it's probably all over. That Trump ordered South African aid freeze and will announce refugee resettlement programs for white South African farmers. If anyone knows what's going on in South Africa, man, I mean, it's really a sight to behold there, and that, you know, the blacks, the Africans or whatever they are, they're really going full bore at attacking the white people there, the farmers, and they're catching them on their farms. They're using jammers and stuff like that to cut off the communication. So these people have to be really trained to run a farm in terms of how to where to place their dogs. These people will, you know, they'll be working for them in many cases, and they'll have the trust of their dogs. So, and I remember reading this, and I actually watched a documentary on the South African farm killings. And many people have wondered over the years, why aren't they allowed to come to the United States? It would be kind of, you know, it was kind of a tricky thing that you're offering whites refugee status from a black-run country, and that is the case here in South Africa, where Trump is helping out his fellow Boer man. President Donald Trump signed an executive order formalizing his announcement earlier this week that he'll freeze assistance to South Africa for a law aiming to address some of the wrongs of South Africa's racist apartheid era. And you remember, as I've said all along, Obama was our Mandela. And, you know, I want to bring up something, and I wonder if Trump has seen this. And I'm going to see if I can find it. I showed this on one of the other streams here. Let's see. Is this it? Let's see if this is it. I don't think this is it. But yeah, I showed something on the other streams that kind of gives you an idea of what's going on in South Africa here. And let me see if I can find it. They have a song over there called "Kill the Boer," and well, while I'm looking for that, I'll share this headline with you. Nelson Mandela's son recently was found to be taking part in a carjacking there, so he's arrested among 4. Let me see if I can find this from you from South Africa. It is very interesting. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'm sure I have it. I really want to share this with you if I have it here. Yeah, I found it too. I found it. Here it is. Let me copy this link here. And so that's Nelson Mandela's son. And so this is what Trump is responding to when he's offering the refugee status to the whites in South Africa. This is the kind of the environment that's going on in South Africa right now. And you can see the headline: for every 1 black person, we would kill 5 whites. We'll kill their children. We'll kill their women. This guy is in, and this guy is actually in Parliament. He's in the government here.
For each 1 person that is being killed by the taxi industry, we'll kill 5 white people. For every 1 black person who will kill 5 white people. Who kill 1 of us, we'll kill 5 of you. We'll kill the children, we'll kill the women, we'll kill anything that we find on our way.
You can hear the people cheering in the background as he's talking about killing people, and this is an elected official.
We kill how many? They kill 1 of us, we kill how many? They kill 1 of us, we kill how many whites?
They kill 1 of us, we kill. Yeah, call and response here.
We kill the children, we kill the women, we kill their dogs.
These people these motherfuckers savages.
We kill their cats, we kill anything.
You kill everything. One more.
That comes for each 1 person that is being killed by the taxi industry, we kill 5 white people. For every 1 black person we'll kill 5 white people. Who kill 1 of us, we'll kill 5 of you. We'll kill the children, we'll kill the women, we'll kill anything that we find on our way. They kill 1 of us, we kill how many? They kill 1 of us, we kill how many? They kill 1 of us, we kill how many whites? We kill the children, we kill the women, we kill their dogs, we kill their cats.
And then what happens when you kill all the productive people? One might ask, you know, what happens then? You know, damn, sorry. What happens when you kill all the productive people and then you're left with nothing? You end up like Zimbabwe, where you end up having to bring the people back And I think that's what Zimbabwe did. They said, hey, white people, will you be willing to come back? And let me see, and you'll see that here in one of the articles here where Zimbabwe saying, hey, white man, we know we killed you, we ran you out of this country, but would you please come back again to make us the breadbasket of Africa again? And here's a video coming out of Africa Live here. And this is probably part of the reason why Trump, is
Last year,
decision.
about 1,300 former white farmers accepted a 10-year government bond from which they will receive annual interest payments. The first tranche, about $20 million, is due to be paid this month.
Farmers have now put in their KYC documents. They have to prove their ownership. 440 have gone to Ministry of Lands, have been accepted. Okay, and there's about another 700 odd in the process of getting their documentation in order.
Measured against the total bill of $3.5 billion owed to dispossessed farmers, the initial payment is like a drop in the ocean, but observers say the most important thing is getting started.
It's a major milestone in my view. It's an important step, obviously, going forward in terms of even the resolution of this whole land issue and land question.
The government has also announced plans to issue new transferable documents to beneficiaries of the land reform, which should be acceptable collateral for resettled farmers to access loans.
Over the past years, we have seen most of the financing, most of the heavy lifting in terms of financing of agriculture has been borne by government, which is not sustainable. I think we need to bring in the private sector.
The two developed the promise to start paying compensation as well as changes to the land title regime come ahead of a visit to Zimbabwe by the African Development Bank president and former Mozambican president who are leading Zimbabwe's effort to negotiate for debt relief. Compensation of former commercial farmers and reviewing the land tenure system are key pillars of Zimbabwe's strategy to clear about $18 billion of foreign and local debt and arrears. Farai Mwakutuya, CGTN, Har.
And that's South Africa. Well, it's Zimbabwe, actually. And it looks like they're a step ahead of South Africa. South Africa is starting to take away the land from the whites, and Trump is offering them refugee status here in America. Zimbabwe is on their way back the other direction in terms of making the white farmers whole that they took their land from. Just a couple more headlines here before we get out of here. I'm just going to share my screen and roll through them. Again, this is why Elon Musk is getting so much pressure here. You see this, Elon Musk says Department of Education no longer exists. Very interesting here. Let's see what he says. See, there's a short video. And let's see what he says. We'll scroll through it. We'll get through it here. I'm sure there's going to be an ad. But this is the holy grail for many of the Democrat organizations. A lot of grant money funded through the Department of Education. If Trump and Elon are attacking the Department of Education, you're going to see a real serious fight.
I guess I'm not the easiest person to please. I like things just right.
And of course, there's going
That's
to be
why
an
I
ad.
love Redfin. They show me homes that are perfect for me.
We'll move on from that ad. Let that ad play. But yeah, so it's interesting. If Elon and Trump, they're going after the Department of Education next. And that is going to be interesting. If they make any inroads in cutting some of the funds in education, you're going to see a serious fight at hand. Let's get through this ad. Let's see what Elon's going to say about the Department of Education. I can't believe he can't skip these ads. All right,
that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education's headquarters. Democratic lawmakers had met outside to protest Donald Trump and Elon Musk's plan to abolish the department entirely, as well as attempting to seek a meeting with the department's senior leadership. Lawmakers were not only blocked by security holding the front door, but also by Department of Homeland Security police seen in multiple videos from members of Congress. Lawmakers were told by security guards stationed outside that nobody had accepted a meeting.
You know, it's interesting. Yeah, I just noticed something very interesting. 3 or 4 years ago, these same black guards would have been working January 6th or something, beating up the white people. And now here they are tasked with keeping the blacks out of the Department of Education. Trump is learning his lessons. He's using the apparatus against the deep state here.
security police seen in multiple videos from members of Congress. Accepted a meeting in order to enter the building.
Who gave funding?
16 National Teacher of the Year. It's a great pleasure. Members of Congress.
This shit is not very interesting to me. Anyway. Oh, wow. Oh, I covered this story the other day. Anyone, and I covered it briefly in passing. There was like 3 or 4 murders in D.C. in one day. Oh, wow. This is an amazing story right here. A fucking amazing story. Man. Oh, man. Brave and I, we're going to cover this. Next time Brave and I would do a show, we're going to have to cover this. We're going to get into this right now. Let's listen.
Man is in jail this after police say that he shot and killed his very own father in a Navy Yard apartment.
And the victim's sister is speaking only with Fox 5 tonight. Nana St. Bones, who is live at police headquarters. She has the exclusive tonight. Nana.
Guys, Daryl Smith is the name of the 61-year-old man that D.C. police officers found dead inside a unit at the Park Riverside Apartments over in Navy Yard. We actually met his sister outside the complex when police informed her that her brother had passed away. We had a chance to speak with her tonight, and she tells me she still can't believe that her nephew is the one who pulled the trigger.
I'm upset because he loved his son.
Sharon Smith says there's nothing that her brother, Daryl Smith, wouldn't have done for his children, especially 37-year-old D'Angelo Goldston.
He loved all of his kids dearly, and he would always say, I die for my kids, but I never thought you would die by the hands of your kid.
Fox 5 DC was actually at the scene Tuesday evening when Smith found out.
I want you to pay attention where he's living. This is a very nice neighborhood in Washington, D.C. This is near the baseball stadium. Very high-end area. So this guy likely was in some type of affordable housing situation.
That her brother passed away. Police say her nephew Goldston shot and killed his father inside the Park Riverside Apartments on 1st Street in Southeast, where Sharon was visiting.
You know who lives near there? AOC lives near there. Hell, she may live in a building maybe across the street or something. AOC.
Inside the Park Riverside Apartments on 1st Street in Southeast, where Sharon was visiting her brother.
So I knocked harder and I started yelling through the door, Daryl, Daryl, Daryl. And so then his son answered and he stood back. And then I just happened to look and I saw my brother laying on the floor with a pool of blood around his head.
According to court documents, Goldston shot his father at least 2 times in front of a 2-year-old witness, his daughter, who told Sharon and police that
my dad shot my...
Wait a minute, he did what? No, he didn't. He shot his daddy. Oh man, this shit gets worse. And I'm looking for the article, so I have a proper follow-up to this article, to this video, and I'm really looking for it. Give me 1 minute before I finish this up. This is unbelievable. He killed his dad. Damn. Let's see. Okay, let me play the rest of this.
My papa.
The Smith family says Daryl, who was in a wheelchair, loved to write.
The love my mom stuck to me like a pin.
What? No, he didn't. He killed a fucking man in a wheelchair? What? No way.
Dice. This is him rapping at his mother's funeral.
I never really knew how much my mom was worth until I realized she risked her own life.
Rapping at the mama funeral. Oh man, damn, I ain't even sharing my screen. Let me share my screen. We're running it back. We're running back. You know I like to run it back. We're running back one more time. You guys here, run it back, run it back. Rapping at the mama
and police that
my dad shot my papa.
The Smith family says Daryl, who was in a wheelchair, loved to write.
The love my mom stuck to me like a pair of dice.
This is him rapping at his mother's funeral.
I never really knew how much my mom was worth until I realized she risked her own life to give me birth.
If he was standing here right now, he would say, let me ask you something. You like rap? And he'll just start spitting, right? He wanted to be a rapper.
I never raised your arm to harm your mom.
He was a really good person, he was. I'm gonna miss him. A heart of gold.
Thank you.
Now, investigators tell us that they did recover a gun at the scene. Goldston, who appeared in court yesterday, is facing second-degree murder charges, and he will appear in court again in March for his preliminary hearing. Guys.
And here's the DC police report on that murder, and I talked about this. The decedent has been identified as 61-year-old Darrell Smith of Southeast DC. That's Southeast, but that's a nice part of Southeast, by the way. And the son, D'Angelo Goldston of Southeast DC, probably was living with the daddy, second-degree murder while armed. And if that were the end of the story, yeah, that would be sad, but it does get a lot worse. And here's how it gets worse here. Let me see if I can pull this link up here. And here he is here. There's him right here. And this sad story all around, as you can see here. The man that killed his father in 2019, he was campaigning for his father's release from jail. From his Facebook page, Free My Daddy, Darrell Smith. You can see him there. That's his daddy in the zone, prison pose. And the man was later released only to be killed by his son. He was safer. And John is running on 8 bits. You know, man, I've been working on this. And it seems that, I like this OBS, the layout. You can see what the things I've been able to do on the screen here, on the screen. But maybe it's just too resource intensive here that, holds me down here. Matter of fact, since I'm about done presenting, I think I'll close some of these tabs. Anyway, I wanted to get a little bit of feedback from you guys before we get out of here. Some live feedback if you feel so inclined. Give me some feedback on the layout of the stream. If you have some critique on what we should be doing better, or we are doing very well, you can feel free to drop that in the chat as well. Anyway, I'll give you a couple minutes to write that out. HB snoozed off with $2 Mexican. John didn't pay that. Man, I don't know what it is, man. My internet is good. Let me see. Let me do a smoke test right now. Let me do a speed test right now. Every day it goes up and down, up and down. Speed test. While you here, Ryan, I got something for you. Let me make sure you see it on the screen here. Let's see what the speed test is. And damn, my screen is slowing down a lot. Let's see, go. You can see where I'm located here. Internet brought to me out of Baltimore. That's probably why it's slow. They can't even fix their potholes. We're downloading at about 100 megs, it looks like. Well, that's not the most important part. I guess it'd be the upload is the most important. Let's see what we're doing on the up. All right, we're over 10. Nah. Nope. Nope. Damn, maybe that's the issue right there. I'm gonna have to talk to them. Sheesh. Way down. Way down. Down in the hole here. 8.71. Ryan, this is for you. Oh shit, I forgot to cover that one, but we'll get to another time. Oh, I gotta talk about this one. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
Teachers showed up Monday and found the doors locked. And employees are demanding answers now after a local school abruptly just closed. The Health and Style Institute, as it's called, has been around for 13 years, but students and teachers showed up Monday and found the doors locked. Channel 2 investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln live now on Piedmont Road. It's at their location here in Atlanta. And Ashley, students say not only did the school close, but they're also locked out.
They're completely blindsided, George. Both students and teachers say they have yet to be able to go inside this building and get any of their belongings, and we found is happening at all 4 of their locations.
If we had preparation, we would have been okay.
Overwhelmed with emotions,
This has made me so sad.
Anissa Shabazz says she's left, trying to figure out what's next after the abrupt closure of the Health and Style Institute.
This is my second chance at life.
Shabazz says she was studying to be a master stylist and paid at least $15,000 in tuition.
I was supposed to finish in 5 months.
Monday, stunned students and teachers arrived to lock doors and a sign saying the institute had closed for good, shuttering its Atlanta, Kennesaw, and 2 locations in North Carolina.
We can't get our stuff out. We don't know if we're getting our credits transferred.
The owner posted this newsletter to its website. It says the closure is directly related to free application for federal student aid processing complications.
Complicated, you know what that means. That means somebody was stealing the money. That means somebody was stealing the money. That's what that means.
Because of this, the institute says it could not pay federal student aid to students. The owners also blame a lack of response from the Georgia Board of Cosmetology and Barbers about relocating its Kennesaw location, an allegation the state told me isn't true.
They left us like some weak press release.
The owner provided links to other schools available for transfer for those receiving federal loans and grants. The CEO says they would have to review their options regarding transfers, loan forgiveness, or a loan discharge. For employees, the owner says they will receive their final paycheck and their 401k will be honored.
People were here for 10 plus years and they gave them no warning. They gave us students no warning.
And the owner says he assures he will set a date when folks can come back in and retrieve their belongings. In the meantime, those students and teachers, they say they plan to hold a
what?
protest later this week.
Man, they better stop with this fucking 1970 protests and all that. That shit don't work anymore. That shit don't work. They will hold a protest. What? About what? Your money's gone, ladies. It probably was some fraud. Whenever these schools can't get the money, it's always the fraud. It's always fraud in the finance. That's what closed Marsh Brown down, and we'll end it up on this right here.
Details about the murder of an attorney found dead in his houseboat. Prosecutors say when police discovered Joseph Donahue's body, it was wrapped up, duct taped, and had weights attached. WBZ's Laura Hafley was in court today when the woman charged in the case pleaded not guilty.
Nelson appeared in court for only a few minutes this morning. The prosecution detailed the night Donahue's body was found. And as for Nelson, besides a brief outburst of confusion, her attorney asked for more time to review the case. A brief outburst in court Friday from 24-year-old Nora Nelson, charged with murder in the death of 65-year-old Joseph Donahue. Prosecutors detailed the night of Donahue's death, stating police found Nelson on his Charlestown houseboat after his family requested a well-being check.
When officers arrived at the residence, the defendant, Nora Nelson, answered the door.
Officers spotted Nelson inside, allegedly running and moving things around. When questioned, Nelson allegedly lied to police about her identity and claimed Donahue was at a strip club. Officers eventually insisted they step inside, making their way towards the back bedroom and patio where they discovered Donahue's body.
When he opened the sliding doors in the bedroom leading to a patio area, he saw what would later be identified as 65-year-old Joseph Donahue's body, wrapped in a white and blue covering, secured with duct tape, and affixed with weights.
Investigators determined Donahue died from stab wounds, and Nelson was eventually arrested on murder charges. In 2023, she was arrested for allegedly assaulting her then 63-year-old boyfriend after
63.
He claimed she owed him $300,000.
$300,000. Sheesh.
In January of 2024, she was sued for breaching a $2.6 million condo contract in the Seaport, and last month, she allegedly became aggressive at an Nantasket Beach hotel in Hull and attempted to use someone else's credit card.
Man, this woman has got a long way with not so attractive looks.
Prosecutors say Donahue's dog was found dead in the harbor. Nelson will be back in court.
The bitch killed her dog. Killed her dog. Killed everything, as they said in South Africa.
March 6th, she's being held without bail. In Charlestown, Laura Hafley, WBZ News.
Wow, that's amazing. And, you know, again, I keep saying I'm going to end it off, but I will end it with this. Here's what I want you guys to see. kind of to go back with the elites and everything that, you know, they're all in it together. And you can see here the NAACP. They had, I guess, another Black History Month, February 6th, and you can see what's on the agenda here. Let's see if I can maximize that a bit. Let's show you what's on their agenda. And their agenda is Welcome to Call of Order by Miss Camilla, Invocation, Lift Every Voice and Sing, so a little singing. They're going to talk about Project 2025 with Dr. Wendell Anthony, ICE and its impact on our schools with Dr. Nikolai Vitti. She's a superintendent of Detroit Public Schools Community District. The civil rights of Michiganders with an attorney there. And again, audience feedback. Again, no talk about, you know, the economy or anything like that. You know, again, I keep saying that these people are more or less have given up on the economy. And you can kind of see here they're worried about civil rights and the impact on the education industrial complex. And there's 2025, a little bit of singing. But again, nothing about business here. The entire agenda is more or less just, hey, come back and vote Democrat harder in 4 years here. And you can see even more things as you scroll down here. Kids over 13 have the right to make their decisions. There's something here about the NAACP, and I have it here. I want you guys to see this. It's really amazing what I found here. Let's see if I have it, if I still have it. Yeah, here it is. Here it is here. And here it is here. Copy link. And here's that link here. And again, this is the NAACP, kind of showing you where their interests are, kind of where their donations come from and where their motivations are. Someone here is screaming, I'm going to scream. The NAACP Legal Defense Fund filed a 34-page brief in support of the defendants in the trans case currently being argued before the Supreme Court. And you will see that probably here, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund in support of petitioner. And this is about a trans case here. So you kind of see where their heart lies here at the NAACP. Again, another one of those organizations co-opted by big government here. Once again, thank you for joining this stream. Make sure you hit the like button and make sure you support all of our hosts here. HB, Stanley Cross, Get Crack, me, John Galt, and our wonderful editor, Portia J. And don't forget, we have a February Black History Month fund. You can see it at the top. We're making a little progress here. Once again, thank you all for joining again, and jump over to the big stream. Thanks again. Thank you again.